All right, so I'm here with the Irish Dragon, Paul Felder, set to rematch Edson Barbosa. Of course, the first fight, an insanely awesome technical stand-up battle. And since then, you've made quite a few changes. You joined Rufus Sport, training under Duke Rufus and that whole squad.
Yep.
What would you say was the biggest takeaway that joining that camp has brought to you?
Well, for me, it was with Duke. He's such a good striking coach, and he's so good at adapting to everybody in their style, right? He doesn't change who you are naturally. He takes that and is able to mold it into just a better version of that. And I think that's what he did with me. Is I have a very aggressive style, a very powerful style. So he took me, and what he's trying to always do is calm me down, keep me comfortable. He's not taking me away from moving into the fire. He knows that I like to move forward, be aggressive, and he just took that, but added so many elements of just control and comfort in that chaos. And I think that's what Duke has done so well for me. It's just made me comfortable in the chaos and not so manic and crazy, and also just controlling my natural aggression and anger in the octagon.
Okay, now since the rematch, I mean, you've been on a tear, picked up 6 wins, and although you did drop three, there were two split decisions and a doctor stoppage. So there's a lot of people who say you really haven't lost since the first fight with Barbosa. Is that kind of how you feel?
I think it's definitely the most clear loss that I've had in my career, right? Is this one. So when I say, oh, I want to get this one back, there's a reason that I want to get that one back versus any of the other ones, right? Obviously, the cut from Trinaldo, it was a good fight. I got my face split open. What are you going to do? The Mike Perry fight broke my arm, split decision still. Some people could have argued I won that fight even with a broken arm, but what are you going to do? Ross Pearson, I still kind of think I won that fight in hindsight. Another split decision. So that's the only one where it was like a definitive, this guy really beat you. So that's why I wanted that one back, because that's the one on my record that's like, that one hurts, man.
So in Barbosa's last fight, he was knocked out by Justin Gaethje. It was
Yep.
not even 6 months ago. Do you think 6 months is enough time to come back from a loss like that?
It depends on how he recovers, and the things he does, how much sparring he's doing. But I mean, he got clipped, and guys come back even sooner than that, I think, sometimes from knockouts. But I'm not even like, that's not even on my mind. My mind is on how dangerous Edson is, and on the things that he's probably been changing in that time between that fight and this one. I think about the savage Edson. I think about his fight with Dan Hooker. I don't think about the knockout losses. You know what I mean? I always look at the strengths of my opponents um, when I'm preparing, just because I don't want to go in there and think, oh, I'm just going to be able to do what Justin did and get the win. I think about, what do I have to worry about as well, so that.
Would you say is it fair to say that maybe once someone gets knocked out, it becomes easier for them to be knocked out?
We've seen that before, but then we've seen guys go and change some things in their career and then start going on a tear. Like, I think Arlovsky was getting dropped all the time, right? Getting knocked out, and then he starts coming back and he's in the pocket with Rothwell and exchanging. It's like,
I call that the greatest comeback in MMA is
yeah,
Arlovsky's
right?
chin.
Yeah, really. And that's one that stands out to me. So who knows? And they're from the same camp. Maybe there's something in the water.
Yeah. Well, so the first fight, stand-up war. I mean, aside from the outcome, what do you think is going to be different this time around? Now that you're way more acquainted, you've trained together, you fought each other, is it going to be the same kind of fight, or you think it's going to be a lot different?
No, I think it'll be different. I think it's going to be just as exciting, but I think you'll see two different guys in there. I think, I don't know how it will be different, but things can't be the same. That was just too all over the place. It was almost like a spinning contest the first time. I think you'll see even more brutality in this one and less flash.
Okay. So you've been on a tear inside of the octagon, but you've also been on a tear outside of the octagon commentating.
Yeah.
Would you say that commentating makes you a better fighter?
I think it makes me appreciate it more. I get to see what everybody's going through all the time, and it makes you hungry to get there and do it. You kind of get jealous when you're on the road, and you're feeling like a out of shape slob, and you see all these lightweights in your division walking around killing it, or getting their hand raised, moving up the rankings. Especially when I was in Philly and I get to see the Edson and in my hometown, fighting in my hometown, and I didn't even get to be a part of it. So, it makes me. It also makes me evaluate fights a little differently. I know how to think more strategically, I would say.
I mean, it's also got to be time consuming. I mean, it's not easy to commentate. You have to do your due diligence, your preparation. Would you say that takes away from your training in any kind of way?
Here's the thing. No, everybody thinks that, right? But I'm only gone every other couple weeks, and it's for like 3 days. And my only job in the world other than commentating is training. So I'm training 2 or 3 times a day, every day of my life, in or out of camp. I think I'm not one of those guys when I don't have a fight that I'm just sitting on my computer doing research. Like I do research in between training sessions or on the airplane or at fight week. I kind of cram it in and do my stuff when I have time. Training is still first and foremost. Hanging out with my daughter and going to the gym. That's all I do when I don't have a fight.
And you think it's a great way to set yourself up for a post-fight career because I mean, you're
Yeah.
actively
Oh yeah.
fighting, and now
Yeah.
you just can seamlessly transition into an analyst role.
Yeah, they're ready for me. I mean, whenever I decide to hang up the gloves, I think they're ready to give me a lot of work and keep me busy. I can pretty much do it full time. I also want to get back when it's all said and done, and try to get more back into the actual acting world and do that kind of stuff. Explore TV and film, but until then, it's just commentating in between fights and fighting. And yeah, someday I won't be able to do this anymore, and that's not too far away. It's probably within 2 or 3 years away. No more fighting. I don't want to be fighting at 40 years old. I want to be able to, spend more time with my daughter while she's still young. She's 4 years old now, so I figure by the time she's first, second grade, I want to be at home a lot more full time.
Respect that.
Yeah.
Last question. Official prediction for Saturday night. How's it going to end?
For me,
Yes, sir.
with a win. That's it, man. With a win and then a cheeseburger and a beer. Hopefully somewhere here in Abu Dhabi I can find those two things. And I've got lots of candy in my fridge waiting for me right when I'm done. And so prediction is win and probably eat about 10,000 calories afterwards.
Paul Felder, thank you so
Cheers,
much.
man.
Have fun
Thank you,
out there.
brother. Good talking to you, man.